Well, that situation aside, we had some positive progress in other areas. For example, with a little trial and error, we were able to find out that Echo's powers were a bit more versatile than she originally expected. Primarily, the problem was that the difference in her abilities tended to be a result of the sound that was being produced at the time. One-off loud noises like bangs, heavy bass lines could produce percussive explosions. Steady hums could actually allow her to create somewhat fields of sound that would allow her to levitate objects, while high-pitched noises allowed her to produce something of a cutting sound wavelength, a wavelength of sound that when utilized properly would allow her to slash through things, like she was using some sort of a sword or something like that. We of course gave all the details to Ned, who rapidly began trying to incorporate these aspects into the device that he was making her. And at this point in the week, we had all actually gathered. We were sitting around, having a few drinks, eating some food, and talking things over while watching the news. I like to stay abreast of important activity within the city, so I usually had it on in the background if we were doing other things. And Ned was ready to show off the first prototype for his design, and explain to Echo exactly how it was going to work. "Okay, Echo," Ned said as he placed the device down on the table. "I have got a piece of tech worked up for you, and trust me, the hours that I've put into this thing have been numerous. I'm basically exhausted, but it's almost done. Now, listen close. You're going to be using this thing, so you're going to need to know the intricate details. Basically, what I have is a sound frequency generator that can generate tones, whether steady or singular, and even choose volume, amplification, and things like that. The way I've got it worked out is that you'll use the little bit of liquid steel that you got from Keven to not only coat the device and the high quality emitters that I picked up for it in order to protect them, but also include three very important parts. The first of which will be a personal power generator. Basically, rather than using any sort of standard plug-in that would only make it more susceptible to damage, you'll use the liquid steel that you produce to create a small generator. Liquid steel will comprise one half of it, while the other half of it will functionally be the part that actually generates power. You'll use your telekinetic wavelength in order to spin the liquid steel in order to generate electricity. Since you can spin that stuff pretty fast, and it doesn't actually require any physical exertion from you, you can basically generate as much power as you want whenever you want it. Part number two is simply battery. Some exceptionally high quality, high density batteries that'll hold a charge and keep the device powered. But step number three is the most important. This is the audible frequency generator itself. You're also going to have to use a portion of the liquid steel that he gave you for this, but not very much. Just like the rest of it, a small touch of it will do. Just enough so that you can interact with it telekinetically and have it respond to your thoughts, which will be a lot faster than trying to operate any sort of hand controls, and it'll prevent anyone else from trying to operate it. And basically, what I have is a sequence of rings that'll be set up here, Ned said, pointing into some slots in the device that hadn't been filled with anything. You'll create a sequence of rings that fits into this segment, and then is locked in to the rest of the system. Each one of the rings will control a different aspect of the audio frequency that it produces: high pitch, low pitch, bass, treble, and volume. And basically, all you gotta do is give a little thought to spinning the particular rings that you need in the direction that you need them in order to produce whatever frequency of sound that you want. Quick, fast, effective. And though this might seem small, I assure you this thing's gonna pack enough juice to bring down the house. Quite frankly, we might need to think about including some sort of protective gear into your helmet that protects you from overwhelmingly loud noise. No, that's not really necessary. I'm basically invulnerable to high-frequency sound, of any kind. It doesn't matter how loud you crank it, it'll never hurt me, Echo replied, as she leaned forward and grabbed the mixed drink that she was sipping on. She wasn't really a beer type of girl. Mixed drinks usually were her taste. But I have to say, I'm really impressed. I mean, I thought I'd have to hire some sort of genius if I needed something like this, which I was afraid to do, considering that it might give me away. But I never expected you to be able to work something up like this. I mean, are you some sort of unknown inventor or genius or something? You kidding me? I got terrible grades in school, Ned replied. I just have a knack for building things, okay? Smart? I really say that I'm not. More dedicated. Or driven, perhaps. Either one of those would work fine. Well, regardless of what you call it, Echo replied. I'm definitely thankful for the help. From all of you. No need to mention it, Vicky said as she got up from her seat, sitting down beside Echo. If you really want to say thank you, you can let me take you out for some personal drinks. Just us girls, Vicky said, putting her arm over Echo's shoulder and reeling her in, getting a bit too up close and personal. Well, that does sound nice, but I think I'm going to have to turn that down, Echo replied nervously as she was forced to yet again turn down one of Vicky's advances, of which she had made numerous. She didn't really care that Echo was a world-famous pop star. The only thing she really cared about was that she was as cute as a button. That was all Vicky needed to know. And she was persistent, if nothing else. But interrupting that little moment of girl time, I began hearing an emergency broadcast over the news. Hold up, guys. Something's going on, I said as I reached down, grabbing the remote and turning up the volume. Hello, this is Sierra Fress with New Star News. We are now coming to you with emergency news broadcast. Information. Apparently, a short time ago, there was an assault on the home of our city's beloved mayor, currently slated for his re-election in only a few short months, with all votes seeming like they're going in his favor. Tonight, his home was assailed by none other than the Black Dog Syndicate, who have made countless moves within New Star City. After assailing his home, it is frightful to say that this terrifying criminal organization, filled with superpowered criminals, has abducted the mayor. Police arrived on the scene after the events had already transpired, and after a thorough investigation of the crime scene, only one thing was truly left to give any indication of where the mayor might be. They have exhausted all of their rapid response actions, but nothing seems to yield any results in terms of finding where the mayor is. And so, though it is their last result, they must do as the Black Dog Syndicate requested, and they have decided to fulfill the request left in a message at the estate of the mayor. A message left specifically for the Heavy Metal Knight. We will play this message now. I warn you, this message may not be suitable for the viewing of young children. Please ask them to leave the room if they are present, she said, as the screen suddenly changed to a look at the interior of a home, a very well-furnished one, and there, strapped to a chair, was none other than the mayor of New Star City, as a very familiar face peeked into view. Hey, how's everybody doing? It was that douchebag with the sunglasses and the bad Hawaiian t-shirts. I bet you're happy to see me again. Watching housewives fight over what to cook for dinner isn't exactly entertaining TV, now is it? You need something enthralling that'll really catch your attention. Well, don't worry, guys. I got you all set up. You see, tonight, we're gonna play a special game, and the mayor here is our guest of honor. You see, as of late, we've had some problems with people thinking they can play superhero, and they've taken out several of our own. Not very nice if you ask me. So, we've decided to try to take a shot at dealing with this situation, as our previous attempts have not yielded the results we'd like. So, we're gonna play a game. A game between us, the Black Dog Syndicate, and the newly crowned champion in New Star City, the Heavy Metal Knight. The game will begin at 12 o'clock tonight, sharp, he said as he panned into the background towards the mayor, as they seemed to be affixing some sort of collar to him. A collar with flashing lights on it. You see, right now they're giving our dear mayor some extra special jewelry. Not only will it make him look pretty flashy, but if things go south, if something we don't like happens, there'll be one big flash. I'm not gonna lie, you don't want that to happen. If it does, there won't be anything left of our dear mayor, because that little collar that my dear friends are putting on him is wired with high-grade explosives. Truly volatile stuff. But there's an extra special little twist to this. The collar is electronic, wired to make sure it can't be tampered with, yes. But it has a sequence of keys, electronic signals, wired to receive from only a single device. We built in 4 so that we could give you a test show, he said as they brought the camera closer, showing the collar. 4 box-like segments attached to it, with blinking lights. You see, this right here is the collar itself. And these little boxes with the blinking lights, those are the keys. As you can see, I'm holding one right here, he said as he held a small device into the frame of the camera. This is an electronic key. The range on these things is insane. Basically, the moment you flip it, it doesn't matter how far away in the city it is, the other end will pick it up. The receiver, if you will, which is affixed to our dear mayor's collar. It's locked inside of a nice, safe, near impenetrable containment unit, locked with an encryption key. Fingerprint access only. You simply put your thumb on the scanning surface as such, he said as he did so. And just like this, he said as the device gave off a small beep, and suddenly the outer case popped open, a latch seeming to release, as he opened it up to show some sort of electronic switch. Once it opens up, there's a 2-sided dead switch inside, negative and positive, he said as he flipped the switch towards the green light, and there was suddenly a beeping sound that emitted from the collar around the mayor's neck as one of the 4 small boxes that was affixed to it suddenly had the lights beeping on it go to a solid green and make a clicking sound. And just like that, the device has been triggered. The segment of key that locks the collar in place and makes the explosives able to be triggered shuts down, but only the segment for this specific key. Remember, this is only a test. There are still 3 more keys. 3 positive signals are required in order to release our dear mayor from captivity. If even one of these signals ends up going the other direction, towards the negative indicator. Then bang! No more mayor. So, now that you understand the stakes, here's the game, Heavy Metal Knight. You have 3 challengers. Each will meet you at a section of New Star City that we've designated. You will not be told where these places are. No, we'll signal you with fireworks in the skyline. Once the fireworks start going off, you better get your ass to the location. That's where you'll have to fight them in order to get the keys and save our dear, dear mayor. You manage to beat all 3 opponents, claim all 3 keys, and set the mayor free, then you win the game. The mayor gets to live. Don't. And, well, guess what? We'll kill your ass. And we no longer have to deal with you as a problem. We've had the problem of trying to lure you in before, but there's always so much commotion, so much chance for interference. We believe this'll settle things right up. If anyone, and I do mean anyone besides the Heavy Metal Knight shows, the mayor's a dead man. If anyone interferes with the conflicts, the mayor's a dead man. These are the rules of the game, Heavy Metal Knight. So, will you play with us, or will you leave the mayor to his own? He said, as the video cut out to a very frantic-looking newswoman.